Hey guys, Pastor James here, continuing our journey in the centrality of the cross in counseling. In previous blogs, I've talked about no separation, no condemnation, no shame, no guilt, no fear. The reason why I want to talk about these issues is because I think they're chief opponents to the cross of Jesus Christ. That if we're still experiencing these issues of condemnation, shame, and guilt, and fear, and separation, it really distorts what God really did for us. And we end up starting to fight battles that really have already been won. And so this week I really want to unpack no separation. No separation in Romans 8. God shows us that who can bring a judgment against God's elect? If God is for you, who can be against you? Who can separate us from the love of God? And it goes even further in the latter part of Romans, that not even nakedness or famine or toil or danger or sword, nothing can separate you from the love of God. And that's including you. That's including your sin. I believe that the enemy really uses this tactic to believe, or get us to believe, that our sin was just too big for the cross. And if our sin was too big for the cross, we end up trying to fight our way back to God. You know, the beautiful thing is, Jesus says to the disciples, if you have lusted after this woman in your heart, you've committed adultery. Or if you have hatred in your heart towards your brother, you've committed murder. Now, I don't think Jesus is minimizing the action, but what he's maximizing is that the sin started in the heart. So we know that we couldn't behave our way to God, that salvation was a gift from God. So if we couldn't behave our way to God, how can we possibly think we can behave our way away from God? And so when in counseling, how we deal with this is showing the believer that the sin has already been paid. The debt has already been paid. There's no condemnation, there's no shame, and certainly there's no separation. And in reversing that script of it's not about what you're doing or what you've done, it's about who God is and what He's done. And when you reverse that, you can start to see, wow, I am fighting a battle that's already been won. I am trying to unbehave. I am trying to manage my sin. When Jesus Christ, our Savior, flipped the script and said, I'm going to be condemned. I'm going to be separated from God. So I really think that God, in the believer, gives us this good news that we don't have permission to feel separated from God.